Hey guys, we're like everybody else. We're just coming out of this preseason grind where we've been about 3-4 days a week. We've been practicing twice a day, and so again we're about out of that grind there, and the players are starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And we have an exhibition game next week, so we're getting close. We've got 9 new players, including 7 new scholarship players, and we're a very new team, a young team. New to each other. We only have 7 years of Division I experience on the roster, but we like the makeup of the team. We like our athleticism and our talent level, and we've got good chemistry right now. We just have to get healthy. We've got our three most experienced guards are out with injuries right now. One of them is probably going to be out for the year, and one of them for 4 more weeks, and one of them is kind of a day-to-day situation. But this is a team that we feel like the coaching staff is just going to get better and better as the year progresses because of our lack of experience, and then just having some of those experienced guards out early. But we do think by league play we're going to be able to compete with most teams in this league.
Thank you very much, Coach. Our first questions come from Josh Parrott. Josh, please go ahead.
Good morning, Coach. I'm sorry I have to ask. I know you'd rather have those guys healthy, but you mentioned the guards. Who are the guards right now, and can you share anything just as far as what they're dealing with, and maybe when you might be able to get some of them back?
Sure. First of all, Jeremy Hollins, a junior college transfer, who is a really versatile player, a guard who can play one of 3 positions and can really score it, and has a great basketball IQ. We inherited his injury. He came in and had to have a knee surgery in June, and in all likelihood is going to be a red shirt. And then Oscar Reinfeld is a kid that we had inherited an injury again. He broke his kneecap in the last regular season game of his junior college career last year, and then I think he probably overcompensated it. And about 2 weeks ago, they diagnosed a stress fracture in his foot, so he's out, 2 to 4 more weeks. And then if it actually heals, it heals properly, and they don't have to go in to do surgery. And then our most recent injury is Musa Abdul-Alim, a 1-year transfer from South Florida, our most experienced guard, a 5th-year young man, and he had a high ankle sprain, and he's the one that's kind of in a day-to-day situation. So, again, those are our 3 most experienced guards, and who we're counting on. But we've got one thing, we had a lot of depth at the guard spot, and once we get those guys back healthy, we're going to have really good depth on the perimeter.
You mentioned all the newcomers. Anybody who's a basketball guy knows, certain names, and, Wesley Person, and I mean, there's definitely some talent that you guys brought in. You mentioned the guards that are hurt right now, and some of this may roll over into the guys that are hurt, unfortunately, but who are some of the guys that have already, whether they're returning or newcomers, who have kind of stood out to you so far, feeling like, hey, even with the new team, these are guys that we feel at this point are going to, make an impact for us in a good way this year?
Well, the first guy that stands out is Kevin Thomas. Kevin, is one of only 2 players who actually played last year. 5 guys who were on the roster, 3 guys who were sitting out, but 2 played, Kevin Thomas and Kelton Ford. But Kevin had a terrific summer. The one thing that we really preached to him all year last year and in the offseason this past summer was, Kevin, you've got to be consistent in all areas of your life, basketball, academics, everything. And he's bought in, and he had a terrific summer, and he's had a terrific preseason, and he's a guy that has a talent to be an all-conference type player, and we need him to step up and have a big year. But he's had a really good preseason. And Kelton Ford's had a good preseason as well. He's had an experience being in the program for a year, and he's much further along than he was this time last year. And then, out of the new guys, Musa is a guy who, he got recruited at a high level coming out of junior college, and he ended up going to South Florida. He didn't put up the kind of numbers that anybody, he including himself, expected at South Florida. But we've just got to get his confidence back. He still has the talent that enabled him to be recruited at that level, and he's a specialist. He's a really terrific shooter, and he's got a ready-made body, and he's had a really good preseason until he rolled that ankle. But we're expecting a good year from him, and then a guy who stands out amongst the new guys is Wesley Person. He's a guy that he's really struck us as a staff with his day-to-day mental approach to the game. We've had, I think, 25 practices now, including some of those 2-a-days, and I can tell you he hadn't had one bad practice. He's mentally prepared every day, physically prepared every day. He never shows bad body language. I'm tired, I'm sore. Even though he probably is tired and sore, he never shows that. And what he has in his makeup that's really going to help us early in the year with these guys out with injuries is he just has a fearless mentality. I mean, you don't have to tell him, hey, Wesley, if you're open, shoot it. He gets that part of it, and he understands scoring. So he's had a really good preseason, and I think as a freshman, he's going to be ready to play. Now, he doesn't have the experience, and he'll have some bumps on the road early, but we've really been impressed with him about his day-to-day approach to everything, including academics and everything.
And then just two quick questions. How do you see the scoring load being handled this year? Didn't know if it was going to be more of a balance, or do you feel like maybe one or two guys are going to kind of carry that mantle? And then just as far as with such little D1 experience, how much more important now is the non-conference schedule?
Well, from a scoring standpoint, I think we're going to be extremely balanced. We've got about, we probably have 7 or 8 guys ready to play right now until those guys get back healthy. But I think we can score at all 5 spots. We've got 2 guards that can, 2 point guards who can both score from that position. We've got a young man, John Walton, who was sitting out last year, transferred in from East Tennessee State. He's coming off an injury himself. He had a major surgery in May, but he's back close to 100%. But he's a guy who just really has a tremendous feel for the game, or what some people may call a basketball IQ. And he can score from his position, and we've got a young man that sat out last year, Jarl Moravec, who can really shoot it. He's a European kid who has a typical European type game, can really shoot the 3 for a big guy. But I think we're going to have good balance, and then as you say, going into preseason play in these non-conference games, I mean, we've got it. It's tough for us early. We open up with Bruton Parker, and our next 3 games after that are we've got Ole Miss at home, at Georgia, and then at Southern Miss. So it's a little disheartening not knowing to know we're probably not going to be full force going into those games, because when you're at this level and you're playing that level of opponent, you really don't have much room for error in terms of injuries or things like that. But we're still going to play the game, so we'll be ready for them. And our non-conference schedule early in the season is really a challenge.
Coach, I appreciate your time. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Josh, and thank you, Coach Cunningham. Appreciate your time today, and best of luck this season.
Thank you.